Coming up on the South Florida High School Football Show, we kick off our 12th year with a look at the defending 7A state champion St. Thomas Aquinas Raiders. In Dade County, Columbus just missed winning the championship a year ago. They'll be in the hunt again this season. And Troy Drayton joins us with all of the recruiting information. All of that and much more coming up on the South Florida High School Football Show. Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki with Don Bailey Jr. It is year 12 of our show. We have survived 12 years. Can you imagine that?
It's going fast, Joseph.
And we're at the movies once again this year. We're at the Regal Entertainment Group Theaters in Plantation. Looking forward to it because Don Bailey Jr. will be up for an Oscar.
Thank you, Joe.
When we get through this show. All right, year number 12, and we are ready to go. The season is underway. We're into week 2 of the high school football season. So let's begin by taking a look at the defending state champions. St. Thomas Aquinas got up to a great start against Booker T. Washington, coming off a tough game this past weekend against Miramar. That's been a great rivalry. St. Thomas, a lot of talent. You go down to Miami-Dade County, a team that is always in contention, and that's Columbus, 13-2 last year. The head coach there is Chris Merritt. Always puts together a really competitive program. Went to the state championship last year and came up just a little bit short. So, number one, Don, they got to be able to take that experience into this year, and that should really help them.
Well, Coach Merritt is always consistent. You know that those teams are going to be schooled and they're going to understand the game. They're going to have high football intelligence. They're not going to beat themselves, and they are constantly going to win. They always seem to upset somebody in years when they're a little down, but also when they have a chance to take it like they did last year, they usually have successful season. They love running the football, they play sound defense, and they're always solid on special teams.
Yeah, you mentioned that defense. Defensive end Josh Uche and defensive back Trajan Bandy both had great off seasons. Both are among the best players in the state at their position, so they are going to have a defense that's going to be tough to move the ball against.
Well, you know, so much is said nowadays, especially at the high school level, about the 7-on-7s, and everybody thinks that focus is really just on the secondary and the wide receivers and the quarterback. But what's happened as well is the line of scrimmages have kept up because the off-season training has increased. They're expecting players to be in better condition. They're expecting them to spend more time in the weight room, and they're also expecting them to learn the defense.
Keep an eye on running back C.J. Henderson. You like it when you got a running back that's a home run threat.
What C.J. does so well is he secures the football. He's a guy that has enough of a burst to make big plays whenever he needs to, but also he understands how to get that first down.
All right, let's travel all the way up from Miami-Dade County. Let's go all the way up to northern Broward County and Deerfield Beach. And the Deerfield Beach Bucks have head coach Javon Glenn. They have high expectations. They picked up a few players along the way this year, coming off a 4-6 season, but they've got a program, and Coach Glenn has been there, was an assistant, so now they have some continuity.
Well, and that's the key to take it from a losing season to a positive season is that continuity. You've got time now with your team. They understand the playbook. They understand what you expect in the classroom, the conditioning aspect of it, and also, more importantly, the terminology. Everybody has that. They're not speaking a foreign language, so they should make the jump.
They got off to a great start at the beginning of the year. They kicked off the season with a big win over Cypress Bay. Kevin Ridley, his brother Calvin, plays for Alabama. Kevin got off to a great start with 5 catches for over 125 yards, so they've got a big threat there on the perimeter.
Well, they'd like to see those numbers every single week. It takes a lot of pressure off of the offense. He's a sure-handed receiver, but he also has the burst to take it to the goal line.
They have 2 quarterbacks, so 2 quarterbacks can do different things for him. That presents a problem for the opponent.
It does, Joe, as long as it doesn't present a problem for your team. And now you're seeing more and more of these 2 quarterback systems. And what it allows you to do, if both quarterbacks understand that this is a unit now instead of an individual, you can put each player on the field and it'll actually make it easier for the next guy to come in. You got a guy that's very good at running the read option, let him run it, put him in at the right spot on the field, and then if you got a guy with the big arm, let him go to work just as well.
We are just getting started. Year number 12, Don Bailey Jr. of the South Florida High School Football Show. We're at the Regal Entertainment Group Theater in Plantation, where we are more than just a movie. And Don Bailey is more than just selling carpet. He's a broadcaster. We'll continue right here. We'll have much more coming up for you in the South Florida High School Football Show.
The South Florida High School Football Show is sponsored by the Miami Dolphins, Metro PCS, U.S. Army, Vera Cadillac Buick GMC, Tico Peoples Gas, Adidas, and Regal Cinemas.
The following are real customer testimonials.
I'm Davina from Pembroke Pines, and I buy my Cadillacs at Vera, and I get the best prices with no hassles. I love Vera.
We are Dawn and Scott from Davie. We bought our GMC Sierra from Vera. It was the most fun we've had buying a car, and it was the best price in South Florida.
Experience the Vera difference at Vera Buick GMC Pembroke Pines. Vera is 4 miles north of Sun Life Stadium.
My name is Gary Baumwald, and my sense moment was my 5th birthday.
Seldom does a team celebrate before a game, but in Miami, Dan Marino and Mark Clayton took time to wish a young Dolphin fan a happy birthday.
Gary. Hey, man, I want to see if you want another football.
Hey, man. Thanks. What's up, man? How's it going?
Each one of us has our since moment. What's yours?
The South Florida High School Football Show's recruiting segment is sponsored by Metro PCS. Wireless for all.
We are back on the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki alongside former University of Miami team captain and center Don Bailey Jr. at the Regal Entertainment Group Theaters in Plantation, where we are more than just a movie. Let's talk about our recruiting segment. And we have more players in this area than probably any place else. Let's start with that topic, number one. Dade and Broward County continue their turnout, player after player after player, for a lot of schools around the country.
Well, the proof is nationally it is a hotbed. Everybody from USC on the West Coast, it doesn't matter where they're at, Miami, the state of Florida, Florida State, everywhere, they're recruiting Dade and Broward County. The whole country comes here. And the reason is, I think, Joe, that gets overlooked is the great coaching that these players get. I think that they get a lot of great coaching on technique. They understand the game. They are taught how to watch film. And most of the players that come out of the state of Florida, the high-ranking ones, they are ready to play right away.
You know, you get 15 to 25 scholarships per year, so not one university, or whether it's the University of Miami or Florida or Florida State, can come down here and get all of them. That's why other schools are able to penetrate this area. But also, we of course live in paradise, so they can play now all year long with the 7-on-7s. There was a time where in high schools, it may be baseball or basketball would be all year round, soccer, but now football can go all year round because of 7-on-7.
That's a legitimate point, and it's not only that it's going year round, but it's year-round competitive, because those 7-on-7s, they are taken very, very serious. And we talked about earlier in the show also about the strength training, and now even more nutrition is working its way in. So it's really an arms race for every school in South Florida, not only on who's going to go to their school that's a great athlete, but also what are you doing in the off season. Before the athletes were so great, they could come in, they could compete early on in camp, and then all of a sudden that they would be ready. Now it's year-round.
7-on-7 has certainly helped several positions. Defensive backs, because they've got to cover. Wide receivers, because they get to catch the football, and now everybody wants to be a wide receiver. And the quarterback position, which we're going to talk about in our recruiting segment. But quarterbacks in South Florida, that used to be hit and miss. You're seeing more and more quarterbacks, however, make it to the next level because I think of the 7-on-7 and because the coaching is better, and also, Don, the offenses have expanded?
Well, the offenses have gotten more exciting, and I think the point that you bring up with the 7-on-7 is legitimate. There are now quarterbacks that might have been average are now spending 12 months at that position, so they're honing their skills.
We have a new recruiting guru with us this year. He's a former Miami Dolphin, a former Penn State player. Imagine what he would have been like playing in 7-on-7. Troy Drayton, started off as a wide receiver, became a tight end. I think it goes the other way. Now the guys go from tight end to wide receiver, but Troy Drayton is going to join our show here momentarily.
He will give us great insight, and let's dial up Troy.
All right, well, that's number one. We got to see if he can catch our telephone call. Once again, our recruiting segment is brought to you by Metro PCS, the LG Optimus F6, by the way, for only $69. You can dial in on this. And let's see if we can get more information with Troy Drayton on the quarterbacks. Hello, Troy, and welcome to the show.
Thanks, Joe and Don. Wow, thanks for this great phone. Sounds like you guys are practically in the same room. But let's get to the Broward and Dade quarterbacks. This is a great young group of quarterbacks, and I got 3 hot picks for you. Anthony Hassan of Dillard High School, coached by Lorenzo Davis. Anthony is a pro-style quarterback with 4.9 speed. This is his first assignment at quarterback for the Panthers. He's a very smart, tough quarterback, 4.2 GPA, and he's a great runner. He'll fit well into the Panthers' system as their first-year leader. Cato Nelson is our second quarterback from Flanagan High School, coached by Devin Bush. Cato is 6 feet, 175 pounds. He's a 3-star recruit. Cato is committed to play at the University of Cincinnati. Cato also won a state championship, and he's one of the top quarterbacks in South Florida. He's also placing the great Florida A&M quarterback Ryan Stanley. And last but not least, Tyler Hutley of Hallandale High School, coached by Damon Jones. Tyler is a dual-threat quarterback. He's also the leading passer in Hallandale history after his sophomore year. Currently, he's on pace to pass for over 7,500 yards. Hey guys, that's our look at 3 great quarterbacks from Broward and Dade County. Now back to you.
All right, Troy, thank you very much. I know this. Quarterbacks would like to throw to him. He's a big target. A little bit bigger now than he was before.
I was going to wait and see who was going to say big target. I'm glad you said that was Joe Troy talking about your big target.
All right, next week we're going to talk about running backs. And boy, oh boy, this is an area for running backs.
It absolutely is. You've got all sizes, all shapes, all speeds, and full of talent down here in South Florida.
All right, still to come on our show, we'll check in with Cypress Bay and head coach Mark Guandolo. He's been doing it for a long time, and Coach Guandolo will join us next as we continue.
Tico Peoples Gas is awarding the 7th Annual Player of the Year Awards to a player in Miami-Dade and a player in Broward County. Fans can nominate a player by logging on to SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. Click on the Tico Player of the Year icon. Nominations are open until November 30th. After November 30th, revisit the site and vote for the finalist. The players receive a beautiful crystal trophy, and their school receives a $500 donation. Tune in to our National Signing Day TV show on February the 3rd, where the winners are announced.
All right, my name is Tony Lippett. I play cornerback. I went to Detroit Crockett Technical High School. One of my best memories from high school would probably be my senior year. And it was one game we had in the playoffs where we went into like 5 overtimes, and I was scoring like 10 times. I was a quarterback. So that was one of the best moments I had in high school. Advice I would give to a young man out there that's playing high school ball right now is just stay competitive, grind, always compete no matter what the deal is, and like always stay humble. Because at the high school level, you can always be that guy and then get to the next level and just look like a regular player out there. So always remain humble and stay hungry.
Vera Cadillac Buick GMC is awarding the Teacher of the Year awards to a teacher in Miami-Dade and a teacher in Broward County. Fans can nominate a teacher by logging on to SouthFloridaHighSchoolFootball.com. Click on the Vera Teacher of the Year icon. Nominations are open until December 30th. The teachers will receive a beautiful crystal trophy and a 6-month lease from Vera Cadillac Buick GMC, and their school receives a $2,000 donation. Tune in to our National Signing Day TV show on February 3rd, where the winners will be announced.
You know why I brought you here today? Metro gives you unlimited data, talk, and text, taxes and fees included for $30, period. Holy! With 4G LTE data included.
We love LTE data.
On the nationwide 4G LTE T-Mobile network. Now, let's take some selfies.
Switch to Metro PCS for nationwide 4G LTE. $30, period. Plus a free 4G LTE phone after instant rebate.
Now let's get a picture of your free phone taking a picture of my free phone.
For outdoor projects large or small, avoiding buried utility lines is more than food for thought.
What happened?
Know what's below. You or your contractor should always call 811 before you dig. Utilities will mark your lines for free. Brought to you by Tico Peoples Gas.
You love movies. Join the club and the movies will love you back. The Regal Crown Club. With every visit, you earn credits toward free movies, popcorn, and soft drinks. Plus, with a valid email, you'll get money-saving offers and special invitations to exclusive events. Grab a card at the box office, activate it at regmovies.com, or visit our Regal Movies mobile app. Then earn rewards with a swipe or scan of your card right from your phone. So share the love. Join the club, the Regal Crown Club.
The South Florida High School Football Show's Coaches segment is sponsored by Adidas. Stay up to speed with the fastest brand in football on Twitter and Instagram by following @AdidasFBallUS.
We are back on the South Florida High School Football Show. Joe Zagacki alongside Don Bailey Jr. as we come to you from the Regal Entertainment Group Theaters in Plantation, where we are more than just a movie. I would love to go to the movies here in just a couple of minutes. This is a beautiful movie theater.
You love the movies and I love the popcorn, Joe.
Yes,
This
you
is
do.
a great place to see a show.
You are taking care of that popcorn indeed. All right, our Coach of the Week segment coming up, and we're going to talk with Mark Guandolo from Cypress Bay High School, a longtime coach, not only in Broward County, but in Miami-Dade as well. And he has been involved with high school football. It has really shaped and molded the lives of a lot of young men, and he's been a real positive influence on these kids. He's done a wonderful job wherever he's been.
Wherever he's been, whether it was in Southridge, Chaminade, and of course now Cypress Bay, he wins. He puts a disciplined athlete on the field. They understand that they are there to play football, but also they understand that they will be better for playing the sport and him as the head coach.
Of course, the other thing you like is the way he runs the football. Sometimes it's a shell game, but he loves to run the football.
That he does. He's still got a little smash mouth in him when the rest of the world wants to finesse you. He enjoys big offensive linemen. He wants them to be tough and play the game right. And he really likes to grind it and chew up clock. And there's enough old school in him to keep me happy.
All right, let's get more now from Cypress Bay head coach Mark Guandolo with Wesley Carroll.
Thank you, Joe and Don. I'm here with our Adidas Coach of the Week, Cypress Bay Lightning head coach Mark Guandolo. Coach, so much energy when you warm this team up. I don't know many coaches that are giving guys up-down drills to do before a game, but can you just talk about that blue-collar mentality?
Yeah, you know, I enjoy that part of coaching. I enjoy coaching football, but the conditioning and the warm-ups and being part of the kids, I enjoy coaching. I don't want to be an administrator. I want to be involved with the young men, so I enjoy that part, getting them ready for the game.
With new guys in new positions this year, talk about how your off-season preparation went.
Yeah, we had a great summer. You know, we go all 6 weeks in the summer and lift and run and get after it. So it's been good. We getting to be a team. You know, we got some young guys out there, guys that haven't played in varsity games, so we're trying to get them ready.
Yeah, and you talk a little bit about losing guys and gaining guys. Obviously, people come and go in high school football, and losing a starting quarterback, starting running back, but you guys probably don't miss a beat. Explain that.
I mean, you know, we want people to want to be here, and it's hard. This is a tough program. We expect a lot from them. And, you know, I hate to see kids, you know, when it doesn't go their way, they look to go other places, you know, but that's the way of the world now. But we're going to coach the ones that are here, and they're excited. They're really excited to get the season going.
Coach, I bet you're extremely excited to get this season going, and can't thank you enough for your time once again. That's our Adidas Coach of the Week, Mark Guandolo. Joe and Don, back to you.
Remember, South Florida high school football fans, you can stay in the know with the latest news and updates by following us on social media. Follow us on Twitter at HSFBall, Instagram at SFHSFS, and be sure to like us on Facebook at South Florida High School Football. Time now for the U.S. Army All-American nominees. Benjamin Victor of Coconut Creek High School. Benjamin is 6'4" and weighs 170 pounds. This outstanding athlete has continued to show improvement throughout his high school career and is now a 4-star wide receiver recruit. His determination and passion has led him to become ranked in the top 15 recruits in Florida. Brandon Johnson of American Heritage School. Brandon is 6'3" and weighs 172 pounds. This talented wide receiver has received a plethora of offers from schools. This versatile player will be an asset to any team. His father, Charles Johnson, played baseball for the University of Miami and the Florida Marlins. Time now for the U.S. Army All-American nominees. Brian Burns of American Heritage School. Brian is 6'5" and weighs 212 pounds. Burns is a weak side defensive end who ran a 4.76 40-yard dash. He has received offers from the University of Miami, Georgia, the University of Florida, and Florida State University. Cedric Wright of Gulliver Prep. Cedric is 5'9" and weighs 180 pounds. He is a 4-star recruit as a strong safety with a 4.41 in the shuttle. His footwork and coverage will give him the edge in the secondary.
The following are real customer testimonials.
I'm Davina from Pembroke Pines, and I buy my Cadillacs at Vera, and I get the best prices with no hassles. I love Vera.
We are Don and Scott from Davie. We bought our GMC Sierra from Vera. It was the most fun we've had buying a car, and it was the best price in South Florida.
Experience the Vera difference at Vera Buick GMC Pembroke Pines. Vera is 4 miles north of Sun Life Stadium.
We continue now on the South Florida High School Football Show. Alongside Don Bailey Jr., I'm Joe Zagacki, coming to you from the Regal Entertainment Group Theaters in Plantation, where we are more than just a movie. Of course, our radio game is back this year, Don Bailey Jr. We have Mike Levine and Wesley Carroll handling our radio games on the 940 iHeart Radio app, which we'll get to in a moment. But our next game coming up is a special one for you, Hialeah and Hialeah Miami Lakes.
That's right, for the Big T Trophy that's played at Mylander Stadium. And of course, I'm leaning towards the Hialeah Miami Lakes Trojans. It should be a very, very big game. Brings that community together, and of course, we want the Trojans to win, Joe. Sorry about that.
Okay, our radio games this year on 940 and also on the iHeart Media app. For more on our exciting radio schedule, here's Mike Levine and Wesley Carroll.
Thanks, Joe and Don. Well, Wes and I are back for another big-time high school schedule, and why don't we get right into it. To wrap up the month of August, our opener was Deerfield Beach hosting Cypress Bay, and the team with about 20 Division I prospects in Deerfield Beach prevailed at home. Opening up September on the 4th, Cardinal Gibbons and Everglades. Meanwhile, Cardinal Gibbons pulled out the road game, this time at Everglades. September 11th, HML against Hialeah West. I know you love going to Mylander Park.
Always such a nasty game. Every year there's a lot of trash talking going on, but when it gets down to it, in between those white lines, always a good game for either team.
West talked a lot of trash in his day. Let's go to Booker T. Washington and Central Latrez. I think there's some talent in that game, Wes.
Usually a few D1 prospects in that game. Don't be surprised if it comes down to the last possession.
October 2nd is Stranahan and American Heritage. As hey, you know what? It's another game with a lot of talent. That's what we try and do here.
Yeah, South Florida is really the hotbed for so many athletes. Even you throw a few linemen in there from these Broward County teams, and man, what a bunch of guys that you can recruit to the next level.
You know, October 9th, Miramar and Cypress Bay from the home of the Lightning. That's always a great matchup, and you just get two teams that play their styles, the dark side defense and the running game of Mark Wandolo.
Absolutely. Mark Wandolo, just so well known in the Broward County area, and he will always stick to his guns and run his style of offense no matter who he plays.
You know, October 16th, we go back to Traz Norland and Carroll City. Boy, that's a game where shades of Duke Johnson in the air.
Well, Carroll City really has just been putting themselves right back on the map where they have been in the years past, and really looking forward to watch the town on that field.
Back to Everglades we go when they host Miramar. That's a tough game for Everglades, but you never know. In Miramar, you lose guys, you rebuild, but they're always reloading as well.
Everglades really plays with that chip on their shoulder, and they've been looking to get that victory against Miramar the past few years. Miramar may be down a little bit this year, so look for Everglades for that upset.
The day before Halloween, Wes will be doing some trick-or-treating early. Carroll City and Northwestern from Traz. That's, hey, just again, Traz Powell means talent.
If you're playing at Traz Powell and you're playing your crosstown rival, expect for there to be some big hitting in that one.
And on November 6th, to close out the regular season, Jackson against Northwestern, also at Traz. So there's a familiar theme here.
Yep, there's some talent around the Dade County area, and we'll be able to watch a lot of that and call those games down at Traz Powell Stadium. Looking forward to it.
And those next few weeks in November, we will have the playoffs for you as well. So I tell you something, every year we do this, you can't be shocked that we say, hey, this game has talent, because that's what we try and do as Wes and I bring you those games. Joe, Don, back to you.
All right, Mike and Wes, thank you very much. A couple of big games next week. Don Bailey Jr., Booker T. Washington has Jackson. That's always a tough, hard-fought battle.
I'm looking to see if Booker T finds the quarterback. I think if they find their quarterback, Joe, they find a successful season.
Columbus and Southridge will be going at it as well down south.
Well, always looking forward to Columbus. We talked about them earlier. They're going to be a well-coached team. It'll be a great contest.
And then Gulliver and Belen, that's kind of a private school clash.
Yeah, I think we should actually go to that game, Joe. It's exciting.
All right, very good. Thanks so much for joining us. Year number 12 is underway for Don Bailey Jr. I'm Joe Zagacki. We'll see you next week right here on the South Florida High School Football Show.
The South Florida High School Football Show has been sponsored by the Miami Dolphins, Metro PCS, U.S. Army, Vera Cadillac Buick GMC, Tico Peoples Gas, Adidas, and Regal Cinemas.
If this game was at 4 p.m. on this very turf right here, we would have lost. We came out and were lights out in the first half, and fatigue made a coward of all of us. And we're going to need some guys to step up. We're going to need some guys to step up on special teams and stealing reps here and there on scrimmage snaps. But guys, if we keep on getting better and we keep on raising the bar, the expectations for Coral Gables Senior High is going to reach the sky.